Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Fortifying Your Faith. My name is Haston Hanley, and I'm so glad you can be back with us today as we are going to be continuing looking at the fruit of the Spirit. And as we keep looking at this and seeing how we can apply them to our lives, just like we did the Christian virtues of 2 Peter chapter 1, verses 5 through 7, I want us today to spend some time and see how to grow in gentleness. Now, many times in many different translations will use, instead of gentleness, they will say something closer to kindness. But in that, I think gentleness actually shows a better mindset, a better idea, and a better growth that encompasses kindness, but doesn't exclude everything else. Now, what is gentleness? Now, obviously, you can just ascertain a little bit of this and say that it is the act of or quality of being gentle. Okay, well, let's break it down a little quicker and smaller than that. It says it is the quality of being kind, tender, or mild-mannered. It's someone that isn't aggressive, someone who's not immediately going to jump down someone's throat or start a fight or anything like that, but they are simply a good person. They're kind. They're the type of people today we would say, well, they wouldn't harm a fly. When we as Christians strive to grow in gentleness, that means we ought to be a gentle type of people. We have to have our tempers under control. We have to be patient. We have to be long-suffering and all of those different things. But I want us to look at specifically one group of people who are called to be mild-mannered, who are called to be gentle, and those are elders. You look at the qualifications of elders, and really, I think the qualifications for elders ought to be characteristic goals for every Christian. Now, not every Christian can be the husband of one wife. If you're a woman, you can't be the husband of a wife. But when we break down into these, you'll see what I mean. Beginning in 1 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 1, this is a true saying. If a man desires the office of a bishop or an elder, he desires a good work. A bishop, then, must be blameless, the husband of one wife, vigilant, sober, of a good behavior, given to hospitality, apt to teach or able to teach, willing to teach, not given to wine, not a striker, not greedy of unjust gain or filthy lucre, but patient, not a brawler, not covetous, one that rules his own house, having his children in subjection with all gravity. Now, it keeps going down into verse 6, not a novice, lest being lifted up with pride he fall into condemnation of the devil. But when we look at these things, I want us to stop and realize and remember one vital piece of information. They are to be of a good behavior. They are not to be a striker. They are not to be a brawler. The idea of a elder, one who is leading the congregation, one who is shepherding the flock, who is overseeing and taking care of the souls of the Christians, are to be gentle. And if those that we're to look towards for an example, for how to live our lives, for all of these different ins and outs that the elders are an amazing example for, then what are we supposed to do with that? You know, we must take that realization of being a good, gentle person and realize in doing that we reflect Christ and His teaching. In fact, I want us to go over to Matthew chapter 5 with Christ's Sermon on the Mount and go all the way down to verse 38. Because Christ begins by saying, and I'm sure many of us know these things, He says, "You have heard that it has been said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. You've gotten me, so I'm going to get you back just as hard, if not harder. But verse 39, he says, "But I say unto you that you resist not evil, but whosoever shall smite thee on thy right cheek, turn to him the other." Not brawling, not breaking out into a fight, not even really retaliating, but being gentle. "If any man will sue thee at the law, and take away thy coat, let him have thy cloak also. Whoever compels you to go a mile, go with him 2. Give to him that asks thee, and from him that would borrow of thee, turn them not away." You start to see that beautiful mindset that Christ is encouraging us, pleading with us, and teaching us that as Christians we need to be someone who is gentle, someone who is patient, someone who is kind, someone who is peaceable, and all of these things we've been studying so far. And so, as we look at our lives, we have to ask ourselves this question: are we a gentle type of people? Are we ones who are living that life of good-natured? Are we being kind? Are we being tender-hearted? Are we being mild-mannered? Or are we just being abrasive, or someone that's hard to be around, or someone that people just don't want to be around? Why not seek to grow in kindness and in gentleness throughout this week and throughout the rest of our lives? But until next week, when Lord willing, we're going to sit down and study kindness, let's continue to study, let's continue to grow, so that each one of us can fortify our faith.